What up? Top of the early morning, y'all. Evening, afternoon, night, all that stuff for y'all, man. We got a beautiful, beautiful, dope show today. Welcome to the Patio PolitiCz. It's your man, J5TH. Shout out to LP, the host. Shout out to DJ Infant J, man. Wish they was here, but they're with us in spiritual form. So shout out to them, too. Let me get them for them. But we got a dope, phenomenal show, man. This might be one of my favorite episodes because it's talking about... I ain't even going to tell y'all. Y'all gonna see. But the title of it is Ethos, the Sounds of Life. Ethos, the Sounds of Life. When we come back from the theme, I'll tell y'all the definition of ethos, what it means. It's Greek, but it's a powerful thing, man. So we're gonna get to the theme, and after that, we're gonna tap in with our guests, and we're gonna ride. Let's do it.
We hope you stay a while, cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like. Come on and just give us a try, yeah. Cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like, yeah. Come on and just give us a try, yeah. I said it's right for life. Come in with the shows that you like. We trying to be the best on the mic. DJ playing cuts that you like, yeah. It could be the start of your day, or maybe just the end of your night. But if you rock it with us, Patio PolitiCz is gonna do you right. Oh, cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life. Yeah, we got whatever you like. Whatever you like. Come on and just give us a try. Yeah, cause it's right for life. Oh, trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like. Come on and just give us a try. Yeah.
Yes. We hope you stay a while, because if you don't, man, some crazy things are going to happen to you, man. I know y'all been watching that Jeffrey Dahmer special. We don't eat people. We don't do nothing crazy like that. So y'all don't have to worry about that. But on a lighter note, man, world, how y'all feeling, man? I'm blessed. I'm great. Highly favored right now to have a dope, incredible guest, man. This is my brother. I love musicians. I love music. I know he's a connoisseur of music, a musician himself, and he's phenomenal and dope, man. So without further ado, I'd like to bring to you, let's get that going and cracking, my main man, Jonathan Munoz, man. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? Everything good?
Hey, man, I'm blessed. Happy to see you. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Taking it easy, chill.
You finally out here.
Finally out here.
Okay.
It's been a while. I said I was going to do it, and I did it, so we're here.
Hey, man, I remember me sending you something, man. I had you on my vision board. And look, you here.
That's right.
So
making it happen.
Yes, making it happen. And we're going to make a lot of history together soon to come. So the title was Ethos, the Sounds of Life. When you hear that title, what does that mean to you?
It means life.
Yeah.
It's a lot of life, a lot of breath, breathing is the pulsing of life.
Yes.
So, it's just a lot of, I feel the energy in the room.
Yes.
I like the energy. It feels good.
All praises. Yes. Now, do you know what the definition of ethos is? What it means?
To give you a clear definition at the moment, probably not.
Okay. No,
but
that's cool. Well, it's Greek for the power of music. That's what it means.
I like it.
Yeah, that's
I'm going to start using that.
Yeah, it's
word.
Called,
word of the day, ethos.
Yes, ethos. And that's Greek for the power of music, y'all, for those that don't know. I learned that in music theory in college, and it just really stuck out to me because I'm like, damn, the power of music is a very spiritual and supernatural thing. Music is spiritual, and the power of it is just, man, off the charts. It can move you in so many ways. So speaking of music, before we dive into the deep shit, how did you get into music?
Music was a part of me, man. I can't tell you a date and time when it happened, but it definitely was a part of me and is still a part of me. Found out very young that I was into music. I would say maybe like 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
But the person to pull that out of me was my mom. She was the one that said, "This kid is a musician. We gotta put him in a music school or something."
Now, let me ask you: was moms into music or anything of that nature?
No, I don't have any. At least out of me knowing, I don't have any relatives or parents or grandma or grandparents who kind of did music. I'm kind of the first.
Wow.
To make it out here. So.
Okay. So now you starting the lineage of music now.
That's right.
Okay, that's dope. Now, did you start off playing instruments or?
I started off tapping pencils on desks. On my mom's legs, I'd give her bruises. Banging on anything I could see.
So you wasn't rambunctious. You was just really on your music stuff.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then went from tapping on moms to what did it transition to after?
It transitioned to my love for guitar playing.
Wow.
I started off as a percussionist. My natural instinct is to make beats, is to make rhythm.
Yeah.
But I heard guitar and it kind of intrigued me. I heard a guitar solo and there were techniques that I was like, is that even a guitar? What is that? And my dad was actually the one like saying, hey, no, it's a guitar player doing this. And I was like, that's interesting.
Wow.
So let me dive a little bit more into this guitar world.
And where were you born and raised?
I was born in New Brunswick, New Jersey.
Okay.
But I was practically raised in Miami because I don't really remember.
Which one
much.
you represent, Jersey or Miami?
I think I represent more Miami.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Miami.
There you go.
Okay. And what was growing up for you like out there?
At first, I would say it was a very nice, childhood. Would play around with kids in the neighborhood. Kind of, that childhood life, inspiration, playing with toys, things like that. But as I started to get more involved with the creative side of myself, I started really pretty young. I started at 8 years old doing music. So after I kind of discovered that part of me and was able to pursue it, it was literally what I would do 24/7. Yeah.
Wow. See, that's what I was saying about how it's more of a spiritual thing. And you have to really be in it, and it has to be on you to over and understand it. Now, man, being in Miami, what was that like growing up out there? What was the times like for you growing up out there? Was you on a Dade County side, or how was that like?
Yeah, I lived in Sweetwater, so it was close to Doral, right next to the big Dolphin Mall. Close to the airport, 10, 15 minutes away from the airport.
Okay.
But it was good. It was calm. It was chill. I met a lot of like-minded people as well.
Gotcha.
I always stayed in my field, stayed in the music world, so I would always have friends who kind of had garages, and we'd go and play in the garage, and in school I go to the band rooms, and we'd jam after school, or the little 10 minutes before class, we would go and be like, hey, let's pull out our instruments and just run it real quick.
So did you just was you aspiring to be just a musician, or did you want to be a singer or anything of that nature? Or was it just I want to be
it was purely music.
Got you.
Purely the music, the sonic side of it. It wasn't lyrics. I'd never been a big lyric head. In fact, people ask me oh, did you hear that lyric? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to listen to the lyrics. I heard the beat and
just
the production and
yeah. Now, do you catch yourself doing that to music now of other artists? You just listen on music opposed to
I feel like that's like a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, because you catch yourself breaking down every instrument, the mastering, the mixing. Do you catch yourself doing that too?
I do it all the time. I speak with my fiance all the time. Like, yeah, did you hear how he compressed the bass here and the levels?
Oh yeah.
And she's like, I don't know, I wasn't listening.
See that's crazy. Nobody ever tried to get you into singing or say put a mic in front of you or nothing?
Well, I've done backing vocals.
Okay.
So I could hold pitch.
Yeah.
I could do harmonies and stuff like that. But to be a lead singer, no.
Nah.
Probably not.
Nah. So karaoke, no.
Not my thing.
Not your thing.
Not my thing, for sure.
All right, that's cool. What other instruments do you had a desire to play or play?
Main instrument is guitar. I play piano too because of the composing side. I'm not gonna say I'm any virtuoso pianist, but I do lay down all my tracks on piano. I did play trumpet for 8 years.
Wow.
I let that go though. It just didn't click with me after a while. But I did play in an orchestra. I played in a symphonic band. I've played solo. I've played, with a trio, quintets, quartets, things like that. So I have a lot of experience playing in different settings.
Yeah.
For percussion, I've played for a drum set. I do play a little bit of other percussion, especially percussion from my parents' country, Dominican Republic. So, la guira, tambora, things like that. I pick up on those things really easily. Again, my natural instinct is to be percussive and rhythmic. So, but I would definitely say the two top right now is probably guitar and then piano.
So your range with music, classical music and everything.
I study classical music.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Can you read it or do you play by ear?
No, I read as well. And play by ear.
Both?
Yes.
Which one you prefer?
At this point, it's second nature. It's
Gotcha.
kind of like reading a book to me, and then if I need to do it by ear, I can do it by ear too.
That's dope.
Just depends on the situation.
What's your favorite genre or type of music to
I would
perform?
say my favorite genre is progressive metal. Again, I have a strong guitar foundation, so I grew up listening to a lot of Rush, a lot of Yes, a lot of Dream Theater, Tool. These are all like very popular progressive metal bands.
Wow.
And I fell in love with that music because it's different. It's not the same like hearing mainstream music where you kind of have like this 4/4 rhythm and it's like, oh, I know when the next beat is gonna land.
So they have different transitions in that type of music.
Exactly. Wow. It's kind of like listening to film music but in the rock world.
Okay.
Because the emotions and transitions change at very awkward times, but it sounds good and you just want to know how they created all that stuff.
And what's the name of this genre? I want to check it out.
It's progressive metal.
Progressive metal. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And some of the artists I can listen to are, say them again. I know you said Yes.
Yeah. Yes. You have Rush. You have Dream Theater. You have Tool. You have A Perfect Circle. A myriad of just bands out here.
Wow. That's damn. Damn. Has it ever been overwhelming for you, like playing in orchestras or things of that nature, quartets?
No. It's felt like me.
Yeah.
It just felt like I belong.
So do you feel that God has placed that calling on you too?
I believe
so.
I believe so. It's something that, when I'm doing it, it just is.
Got you. So tell me, what's your passion, purpose, and pleasures in life?
My passion is definitely to give. I love giving information. I love helping people out. I love that moment when you tell someone something and they're just like, I didn't even know that perspective existed. That moment for me is very enlightening. I get goosebumps just talking about it right now.
Wow.
What was the other two? Sorry.
Purpose.
Purpose.
Yes.
Again, I think my purpose is to help. My purpose is to give people as much as I can, as much as knowledge I have at the moment, and I know I'll continue to expand on that knowledge and to be able to give out to people. I'm not big on accolades. I'm not big on me being the front man.
Yeah.
If I could see you succeed, that makes me feel good.
Very selfless.
Yeah.
Yes. And what are your pleasures?
My pleasures are definitely having time for myself, having time for my family, for my loved ones. It just brings a sense of, just peace, and overall, I think now more than ever, we need peace.
Yes, we do. We do.
This world is too chaotic right now, and there's just so much going on, but peace is at the number one that I feel like everyone should start working on.
Yes,
now.
That part. Now, let me ask you, man, listening to music, what does that do to your spirit?
Wow, that's a very hard question to ask. Simply because it does so much. It just transports you into a different level, a different plane, a different perspective, a different everything. Listening to music it's a world in itself.
Yes, it is.
People tend to listen to music and kind of they passively listen, but if you actively listen, it transports you into so many different worlds that you just can't explain.
Wow.
It just is when you're listening to it, and once it goes away, there was something missing.
Real talk.
So
Real talk.
That's what music does to me. All the time.
Yes.
Never fails.
Yes. Well, speaking of music, man, we're going to be back. We're going to take a quick break. On the Patio PolitiCz, man, it's my man J Moon and J5TH, man. We'll be back after these messages. Yes.
Dr. King, he was love. Malcolm X, he was love. Love in this business will get you killed. You have to set an example. You have to draw a line. When they see that line, and if they cross it, there will be hell to pay. They must know that.
¿Lo tienes?
Yes.
You are now rocking with the Patio PolitiCz.
J5, you good, J Moon?
I'm doing good, man.
I'm gonna call you Jonathan, man. Only I can call you J Moon, man. I don't want the world, I don't want you getting DM that name, man. That's my nickname, but we back, man. So I know on the break we was talking about that T word. We don't usually say that T word. Why? Because I feel personally, I don't know how everyone else feels about the word or their definition of it, but when you're trying, I feel you're not giving your all. Either you're going to try to do it or you're going to do it. You get what I'm saying? But you have made a strong point about trying, and I want you to reiterate on that.
Sure. So trying for me is an experience. I feel like if I could change the perspective on that word, it could mean something a little more than just not giving it your all.
Yes.
And the reason why I say that is because in life, you have to try things to know if it resonates with you.
Got you.
You have to try things to know if maybe, this is the path you want to take instead. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're not giving it your all. It just means that you're experiencing things for yourself. So if we could change maybe a little bit of that idea that maybe try is something that, I'm just going to try it a little bit. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to give up. When you try, what I'm saying is like, give it the extra mile. Give it that chance to expand. Give yourself that chance to explore.
Got you.
And once you've done that and you know that you've given it your all, then you could say, okay, no, let me scrap that, or let me do this instead. Or maybe it can give you an idea and say, hey, I can mix this with this.
With that and that,
Or I could do this and this. So
yeah.
that word try for me is actually a very positive word.
Got you.
Because it's part of human exploration is to try things. As a kid, you get up, you walk, you fall, you try it again. Oh, I could walk with my two legs. That's cool, But you don't know what's going on. You just know that you got to try it. See if you like it or not.
That's a dope ass perspective, man. It's still a bad word, but I love it. I love it. I love the perspective, man. And I know we was slowly talking about just the social media shit, man, and how. What do you think that's like now, opposed to how things were for musicians back then when it wasn't any social media? Do you think now musicians feel more pressured to hurry up and put out content that's not of value now because of what's going on and trends and things of that nature?
Absolutely. I feel like social media, in a way, it's kind of killing creativity.
Yes.
It's becoming more of this, you got to post every day. And, there's some days I don't want to post. There's some days I don't want to see the internet. Well, most days.
Exactly.
There's too much information going on. There's only so much we can handle at a time. And we're already dealing with life.
Yes.
So now I got to deal with all this other, myriad of people that you're following and people who are DMing you or something like that,
And it was a point, man, where we was able to control our social media, and the algorithm that comes now is to the point you'll be following positivity and you'll start seeing shit that'll mess up your day, drama. And you catch yourself scrolling for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, and now your whole day is messed up because of other people's issues. Their insecurities are now on you. And like you said, being a creative, what if you don't want to put out nothing today? What if you don't want to do nothing? How are we able to secure our mental peace in this day and age?
Yeah, so words are powerful, man.
Yeah,
it really is. And like you said, people listen to a bunch of things on social media, and they hear a lot of the things that trend is the negative stuff.
Exactly.
Because people just, for some reason, they get attached to problems.
They're attracted to negativity.
They attract that.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that words are powerful, even if it is through a screen, like it is face to face.
Yes.
So when you hear the words like no, like never, like I shouldn't, it's hard.
Yeah.
They're doing this wrong. You could do this better. That stuff you don't realize, but it's running in your subconscious.
Yes.
And then, a week later, you're like, I can't.
Yeah.
I never.
I shouldn't.
I shouldn't. It clings on, and it clings on real hard. You just have to be able to catch yourself before it does.
So do you ever catch yourself like fasting or taking a pause off social media?
Absolutely.
And I ask you that because I know you sometimes you give, well, not sometimes, all the time you give tutorials. You drop jewels and information to people. How does that look for you when you have to kind of dial down from that, when you know you have a following of people that are waiting for you to drop a video or something?
I take my time. Because the problem is I want to give my best version to people.
Got you.
I don't want to give people, half-assed information.
Got you.
That's not what I do.
Got you.
That's not how I work.
Got you.
And that's not how it was taught to work in this world by my parents, the principles.
Yeah.
Going back down to the basics. You want to give people quality content, things that they can, resonate with for a very long time, and hopefully that can change their entire life too.
Wow.
I've had people on comments on my YouTube channel saying like, "Hey man, you changed my life.
Yeah.
Thank you." From Chile, from Europe, from Germany, from India, anywhere. That's also the positive side about the internet, that you can give value.
Now let me ask you, 18-year-old Jonathan, did he see himself at where he's at now with that, receiving those comments from all across the world in the country from people?
Hell yeah.
Damn, that's dope.
And I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Because right now I am the product of what I thought 5 years ago.
Wow.
7 years ago.
Wow.
That's why.
Damn. Okay. And expand on that. What were you thinking 5 years ago to get to here? For people that don't know, in case they want to be informed about that. Because I want to learn.
Yeah.
Not for real.
When you decide to make a change in your life, it involves a thought. And that thought takes time to produce. It takes time to expand, to really hash out those details. But the problem is, if you focus on your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan, and you carry that out, you are a product of that thought.
Real talk. Yeah.
So if you don't believe that right now, then where are you going to be in the next 10 years?
In the next 5 months, yeah.
In the next 5 months.
Yeah.
So you have to believe that first to then be able to live it now.
Got you.
Because now is already gone.
Real talk, yeah.
So what can you do now that can help you be in a better position, help you, help more people in the future? So that's what I thought about. At 18, I started my YouTube channel 2019, I believe. So it's been 3 years already. And I would always tell myself, in the future, I'm going to see comments of me helping people. In the future, I'm going to see comments of people asking me to, I need help with this, and DM me here. I have people reaching out to my inbox on my Google email. I have people reaching out, to my websites, my YouTube channel, my DMs on Instagram. I have people from all over the world trying to get a hold of me to answer even, hey, how do you undo something on, Logic Pro X?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, bro, this is how you do it.
Wow.
And they're like, oh my God, thank you. It changed my life. That's the point.
Yeah, man. And it ties down to what you said earlier about your purpose and your passion. Giving.
Yeah.
Giving. Because, I mean, we're musicians. We know how hard shit is when we get a program or software. We always stumble across that you see, that glitch or that something we don't know, something, the manual. And now they don't even have manuals no more.
It's gone.
But thanks to people like you have tutorials to help us get through. Because at times, you remember it was a point in time where you had to go through the manual and read and troubleshoot yourself.
1,000 pages.
Oh my, nah. But thank God for people like you to be able to do that. And it's just a blessing to hear, man, that you're able to change the lives of people because you are. That person that hit you could have been suicidal, and that software Logic, maybe they wanted to spew out their emotions on a song, and it got caught in a trick bag to where something wasn't working, and you just helped carry them through that.
That's right.
That's heaven sent. That's all God.
That's right.
Yeah. So what would you give like musicians coming up the same way you did, that want to do tutorials and videos and things of that nature? What advice would you give them if they're stumbling across a life where they feel they can't and they shouldn't and they're like self-doubting themselves? What advice would you give them?
I would say definitely just don't see it from the negative side. I've taught myself to think of the perspective of, instead of seeing life as, throwing curveballs at you, you ask yourself, what can I learn from this curveball?
Got you.
Definitely try to make everything a learning experience. Try to make everything something that you could say, wow, I didn't see it that way. But the reason why I failed was because something happened here, and if I switch this here, then it'll work.
Got you.
That's really the perspective I'm trying to get people to see. And also in my YouTube channel, I don't just teach you how to solve the problem. I teach you how to avoid the problem.
Yeah. Yes.
That's really the thing too. It's like, okay, great, I solved the problem. How do I avoid it?
Exactly. So it won't happen next time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now this level of enlightenment, how did you get that? Was it through your parents? Was it through reading? Trial and error?
I would say it's a combination of everything, but definitely it was when I hit puberty at like 12, 13, something switched in my head.
Wow.
Something clicked. Something was different. I didn't see the world as like, I gotta have, well, I mean, you gotta have fun, but like I didn't see it as like I gotta go out, like I gotta go hang out with friends. I saw it as like, if I dedicate this amount of hours on this craft, then I can be someone.
Wow.
And then I could be something.
And that was at 12.
And that was at 12, 13.
Got you. Wow. So your parents, did they bless you with that work ethic to have that switch? Was Pops like that at 12, or how was like?
Pops is like that now.
Okay.
He's been like that all his life.
Okay.
He's had a serious work ethic. He would tell me he would wake up at 3, 4 in the morning
Mm-hmm.
to go work out, to go work, to go, do business.
So it's
Get
already
business
been in you and on you
done. That's right.
since birth.
It's ingrained.
Damn.
It's
Okay.
ingrained deep.
Damn. Okay. Let's talk about school, college.
Let's do
What
it.
was that like?
College. I'll be honest with you, as funny as it sounds, as much as I love learning, I don't like the school setting that much.
Man, what creative do, man? Like,
Yeah, that's kind of true.
yeah.
But I don't really like the setting too much. I kind of don't like the fact that you have to sit, sometimes listen to things that you're just like,
Yes.
it doesn't really like resonate, but it's like, it's a formality,
Got
you
you.
know?
Got you.
But what I can say is that I still do love learning. And when I still learn about the things that I personally resonate with, then I'm all ears.
Got you.
I'm a very auditory learner. So like I listen to something and it'll just click instantly.
Wow.
I remember my first 2 years of college, I didn't write a single, anything, no notes, anything down, and I passed.
Wow.
It's just the matter of focus. And I feel like music training has a lot to do with that.
Yes.
Just to sit there, absorb everything coming to you, and then being able to replicate.
Got you. But you already went into school knowing how to play instruments.
Yes.
So you wasn't like me and like Piano One and surrounded by musicians like you who playing like Beethoven, and I'm like,
No,
because it frustrated me, man. I was like, I ain't doing this shit.
it is hard.
Yeah, it was scary.
luckily for me, I did start young, and I feel like those struggles that we feel as adults, like, dang, I can't do it, I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
You don't get that as a kid.
Yeah.
You just kind of see it as a game, like, oh man, I need to get better. Like, oh, I want to play with that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do this.
Exactly.
So I guess that's also something that helped me build that character. But yeah, it was definitely a good thing. I felt like it was something that I didn't have to deal with in college too.
Yeah.
Like the process of learning the instrument, more like the process of learning the art.
Got you. And was it difficult for you just with that transition into school, learning just the particulars of musicianship and musical theory and all that?
I would say no. I went to college pretty prepared. I went to college with an extensive knowledge of music already.
Gotcha.
Extensive knowledge of music theory, how chords work, how scales work, how my instrument works, how to, create solos, how to improvise, all that stuff. I kind of came in pretty prepped to all that. So it was more like, again, applying I did go to college first to learn the business side of music.
Got you. Which one? Tell me how that went, because I know business side of music is a whole different beast than actual music itself, where you performing, learning notes, write music, all that. What was the business side like, learning that?
Yeah, it was something that definitely interested me, and thankfully I knew at the time that was something I was lacking in.
Yes.
Because 90% of what you do, 90 to 95% of what you do is business.
Yes.
You got to network. You got to learn how to read contracts. You got to know what royalties are. You got to, you got to do the dirty work. As a creative, that's dirty work.
Now, was you still like putting out YouTubes while you were in college too and doing that?
So when I first started college, I don't think I had my YouTube channel out yet. I started college 2015, which is when I graduated high school. Then I graduated 2018, and then 2019 is when I released my YouTube channel.
Wow.
So it was a whole period of just building. Also, I didn't know like Logic Pro, so like
I was gonna ask you that about the softwares. Okay.
My free time in college, they had the labs, and I didn't have the equipment at home. I didn't have enough, money to pay for the equipment and stuff.
Don't even talk about that, man. Oh my god.
So I was like, you know what? They have it all free at school.
Yeah.
I went on a Sunday from 10 to 7, and I was just there in the lab, just like I would bring lunch and everything. Take my breaks. Like if I was working a normal shift, take my breaks, go back in and figure out how to use the program.
Wow, so you learned that shit in college? Okay. What's your favorite software to use?
Right now, Cubase.
Cubase, yes. Shout out to Cubase. That's what I use. I love Cubase. A lot of people are not fans of that. It's either Pro Tools, Logic. Some people even use Fruity Loops too.
Yeah.
Why Cubase though?
It's more film composer friendly.
Yes, it is. Shout out to Steinberg.
There you go.
Yes, it is.
It's more film composer friendly. It helps me kind of just streamline my workflow a lot better. Not to say that Logic or anything wasn't like that, but it definitely has helped tremendously in kind of furthering like simple tasks. Like one button can do a million things. You can't do that in Logic.
Nah.
So.
Now, did you learn how to write music in college too?
No.
No?
I experimented with that way before college. So I was writing music, I would say my sophomore year of high school.
Wow. Were you in a band in high school?
I did have a band that I formed with some of my bandmates at the time. We actually had an album and everything.
Wow, man.
You know, but right before graduating high school, we kind of just parted ways. Yeah, you know, everybody had a different vision for their life. So we just parted ways, and that was the end of that. But during the moment that we were together, we created magic. We created 8 songs. We performed it live.
Wow.
In a bunch of different venues, and you know, it was an experience. It's definitely something that helped grow musicianship, helped grow that connection between musicians, and you know, being able to write music.
Yeah. Now, do you prefer to be in a group or solo?
It really just depends now. Because as of late, it's very hard to get in a group.
Yeah.
Because people just don't have that same drive to do it. There's people who just like do it for a few months. They don't see anything. They're like, all right, I'm out. Peace.
Deuces, yeah.
But definitely after the band broke up, I said to myself, okay, well, I want to continue doing it. I guess I'm going to do it solo. So I ended up going solo, and I had an album too. I wrote it. I pulled it off the shelf though because of production reasons.
Got you.
I want to redo it, remaster, remix, do all that stuff, just so that it's at, you know, industry standard right now. Gotcha. But I did go solo, and then after doing that for a few is when I started like film composing, because I was like, okay, you know, it's good, but I want to do something a little bit different. I want to explore a little bit more. I want to try something different. The T word, right?
Yeah.
So you know, I tried film scoring, and now 5 years later,
I was about to. Now, would you ever consider going back to like playing with a band or working on remastering your album?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. Now, we're going to get into the film composing after we come back from this break, man. Keep it locked. Jonathan Munoz, J5TH, man, the Patio PolitiCz. We'll be back after these messages.
Definitely don't want to be a martyr for the people. I want to live for the people. I feel like a lot of us are trying to die for the cause, but what is it like to actually live for the cause? Faced
with the responsibility of being an example for these young men, I naturally started correcting a lot of things that I just knew were not appropriate.
My first 10 years, I wasn't doing much in front of the camera. It was all theater, all stage.
One film is wrote. It's already been shot. I won awards for that. It's called My Time Is Now.
What's your specialty on cooking? Soul food.
Soul
food. Yeah, candied yams, collard greens, mac and cheese.
Massage therapy is so important to me is because I believe in the power of positive touch.
It was brothers that was like enemies from enemy hoods.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, you know what I'm saying? But they was throwing stuff out there and we became cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? We became like real straight just based off of like a new.
You are now rocking with the Patio PolitiCz.
We back, man. Jay, you good?
I'm chilling.
You chilling, man? That's what I'm talking about, man. You dropping some gems, man, and jewels. I know when we was on break, man, my man Mac in the back, had a question, man. So, my Ryder, you want to go ahead and ask that real quick?
Man, just knowing that you're musically inclined the way that you are and the way that I am, but you have so much more to bring to the table as far as like knowledge and things of that nature. Firstly, I wanted to know if you always hear music in your head, just original concepts and things of that nature. And then like, what was the transition like from playing by ear and just hearing music to actually learning how to read music?
So to answer the first question about hearing stuff all the time, always. I could be driving on the freeway, and the highway is like, and I'm already doing something. Something's working in there, and I start, you switch the gear to turn left, and you hear it, and I'm already like making beat. It's just it's around me all the time. I just need to express it some way, somehow. Just need to get it out there, because if I don't, I feel like anxious. It's like, I need to get the idea out. And as far as the second question, which, do you mind repeating that again?
Just like the transition of playing by ear and hearing music all the time to actually learning how to read music and transition it that way. Like, was it difficult?
The thing about my training was that I learned from the beginning how to read music. So I was taught, pen, paper. Wow. These are notes. This is a staff. These are sharps. These are flats. So I was just taught directly on paper, and then how do you put it on the guitar? As far as like getting ideas out, I feel like it was the opposite for me. I did all my training reading music that it was hard for me to get my ideas out later, because I only knew how to read music. Gotcha. That was where my training is. So I had quite the opposite experience. And when I started writing music, it was very hard for me to say like, this chord goes to this chord, because I've only used to seeing it on paper. Yeah. So I would say it's probably equally as challenging, because it's a bit frustrating for me at the time, because like I know I could do it because I could play it, but I can't get it out. Whereas you have an idea, but you want to put it out. So for me, it was a struggle. It took me, I think, like a year or two just to be able to hear something and be like, oh, I can finally get it out on my guitar.
Was it because of like the music sheet was standard, and then what you're hearing in your head is just, oh, that's not what's usually on paper. These chords usually are not supposed to go together, but I hear them in my head, and like I could transition them together, but I don't think that I'm supposed to do that. Like, was that the block?
That was the block. And I feel like when you read music on paper, like subconsciously there's a lot of like rules that you have to follow. Like you have to stay within a key. You don't have to do that. But like on paper it says you do. These are the only notes you're allowed to play. Okay. So like I never knew how to break those rules. I never understood the principle of like learning the rules and then learning how to break them.
How to break them. And I was gonna ask you too, when them ideas hit you, like if you're going over a bump and you start to hear these sounds, do you pull over and maybe voice note yourself, or like do you do something like that? What is your way of keeping it when it's there?
If it's something I know I won't remember, I definitely voice memo it on my phone.
I do a lot of that too.
Yeah, but if it's something that I can easily remember, because a lot of the things that I hear too is things that I've done already. So it's just like I have this idea now, and the thing about music is like you can hear an idea, and even if you heard it already, the way you have visualized it is different.
Yes.
So like you could use the same idea, but the perspective that you give in it, it hits different.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that's the beauty in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Damn. That's dope. Now talk about, how did you transition into scoring, man? Like film composition, like from being in a band, playing in orchestras and everything. What drew you to wanting to do that, with that crossover to film?
That was an interesting crossover, which I say is a funny story, but it kind of sucks too, because I had like chronic bronchitis at the time. Not chronic, I'm sorry, acute bronchitis. I got sick, and I was told by my doctor I had to be in bed rest. So I couldn't sit up to play guitar because like it was even hard for me to breathe. So what I did was I went to Sam Ash and I bought myself a MIDI keyboard. And I was in Logic and I was like, all right, I can't sit up and play guitar, so I'll just lay down and play piano. And then from there I just started messing around with string sounds, and I've already played in orchestras before. I know what it is to sit inside of an orchestra. I know what it is to conduct an orchestra.
Wow.
So I was just like, okay, I know how this works. So I just started playing around, and then I started hearing all the other combinations of sounds that I could do with the orchestra that I couldn't do with a guitar. There are certain like chords, certain harmonies, certain ways that you write for those instruments that you can't write like that for a guitar.
Gotcha.
It just doesn't sound the same.
Yeah.
So when I was able to combine those colors together, I was like, this is pretty cool. I never saw myself being a film composer. It wasn't a dream of mine. It just happened.
Wow.
So after that, it was kind of like history. I was like, all right, maybe I can do something like this.
Yeah.
So I went and I tried it out, right? The word. and again, 5 years later down the line, now I could say like I have films to work on, I have projects to work on, and I'm doing this.
Now, was it a difficult transition, like watching film and being able to move the music with the scene? When you like say the first film that you scored, was it difficult to find the flow of the film to be able to play with it?
Honestly, no.
No,
it felt natural. It felt good. I watched a lot of movies. And I've always known, like, I've been able to predict emotions before they happen. So, like, I watch a film and I'm like, oh, okay, music now.
Yep.
And music cues, Or it's like, oh, wait, you see that? It's just, blinding you. This is what's going to happen next. And then, boom, it happens. And then music changes.
Yep.
And then what I told you before about the combination of progressive metal and film scoring is that progressive metal is the same way. In one point, you can have a scene where, like, something's going to happen and then something abrupt happens and the music has to change with it. Progressive metal does the same thing. It'll take you through a journey, but then it'll get, like, real strong and, like, the groove is good, and then it gets melodic again. And then
So, just not to cut you off, would you say progressive metal? Would it be Queen per se? Because I'm thinking of just transition.
It could, yeah.
Okay.
They have songs that follow the same rules as progressive metal.
Got you. Okay. Because a lot of people don't know with the film and music how it goes hand in hand. Only solely because it's like the music tells a story within itself. I tell people that all the time. I say, because if you just play the scene by itself with no music, it's not going to have any purpose to it. The music is what carries out the actual emotion to every single scene,
Yeah, man, just you touching on that topic is everything, because I'm a DP, and what I've noticed is that in the beginning when I started trying to shoot, when I started shooting, I literally didn't understand the impact that music had on it until like I actually started breaking down our films. And I even remember when I told JT, I'm like, man, you gotta tell me like what kind of score do you see behind this, man? Like, is this a Batman film? Is this a Star Wars film? And then just realizing what you're saying, like, oh, the way that shot went, that's why they put that sound effect, or that's why it went up and down. And I always tell you on set, like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
So when I wanted to ask you, with that being said, do you ever work with like the cinematographer of a film or the directors directly, so you can kind of give them pointers on set to where like how a scene could be shot so you could score it better? Or
that usually isn't a part of the conversation. I usually work directly with the director. It would be cool, to kind of, do that role and kind of just say like, hey, if this was like this. But I feel like that also means that the composer itself needs to understand a little bit about shooting films and cinematography and all that stuff. Because, it's a whole other beast, a whole other area of talent. But definitely there are inklings. So like there are things that I see and I see, I'm like, man, the color was perfect for this sound, or the angle was perfect for this sound effect, and those are things that I catch on in films. And when I'm watching, I'm like, man, that angle twisted to the side, at a nice little angle, and then you have this screeching, whatever sound. It's like perfect.
Yeah. You say, huh?
Dutch
angles. One Dutch angle. One Dutch angle.
There you go. There you go.
Now you can have a Dutch angle, but if the acting is terrible, The Dutch angle don't mean nothing, and it's a waste of sound.
It's like it could have been horrible. It could have been like bottom of the barrel.
I think with film, it's like I like to equate it with making love. Everybody has to be on the same accord in order for it to.
Absolutely.
It's a spiritual thing.
Definitely. It is.
The direction has to be on chord. The acting has to be on the same accord, as well as the cinematographer, and then.
It's all about chemistry, because once you have that chemistry, the spirit, it leads.
It falls right into place.
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
It just does.
Yeah.
It just does.
Now, what are some film composers you start kind of, I ain't gonna say pattern your sound off of, but kind of like listening to and saying, okay, this is how he played, this is how he played. I love how he played. Were you inspired by any of those?
I would say the top ones who are in it now, the big Hollywood ones, Hans Zimmer, Brian Tyler, John Powell, Michael Giacchino. These are names you listen to all the time.
Wow.
They're there for a reason.
Yeah.
They deliver.
Yes.
And they deliver a great performance.
Yes.
Overall. So I feel like those are the people that you have to kind of listen to, and to base yourself kind of like, okay, this is the standard they're setting.
Yeah.
But now where my role comes in is like, okay, where can I grab that standard? And now let's bring it up a little bit.
Because I know I was watching. Oh, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just about that. I mean, things are changing in the world all the time. You know, you got to adapt to the world. You got to adapt to it. And the only people who understand how the newer generation works is the people who are coming up.
Exactly.
We're following those trends. People who are established, they're doing what they know.
Yeah.
But we're now the ones who are kind of like following that trend and kind of creating the new sounds that will resonate to the new audiences of cinema.
Got you. Now, when it comes down to that, back to the music, do you think it's more difficult for musicians now than it was then with all this? A person could just make a beat on their sound pad and get stock sounds. Do you think it's more difficult for musicians now to book gigs and just play original music with passion and feeling, opposed to somebody just putting a riff? And you think it's difficult for you guys now?
I would say it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
There's just it's really like how accessible it is.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that you can't do it. It just means you got to work like
a lot harder.
A lot harder.
It takes away the artistry in it, though, opposed to actually coming inside of a session and working with a musician. Because me doing hip hop, I like to move with the music, because I tell people all the time, as an MC, I'm an instrument too. My voice is an instrument. So I have to be in sync with you might start playing a riff, and once you transition, I might want to transition my cadence of my flow to how you're playing.
Exactly.
And it's just like love making. It's beautiful. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up nowadays, but again, when your brain says it wants something, it'll get it.
It'll get that part right there.
It'll get it.
Message. That part.
I just wanted to ask a quick question, just to switch it back to the film aspect real quick. Have you ever had a time when you were scoring a film, or somebody wanted you to score a film, and then you kind of discovered that, like, you know, maybe the director doesn't know too much what he's talking about, or he just thought of I saw Transformers and I heard a great track, or I saw Star Wars, and, you know, he's just basically giving you kind of a movie that's, I don't want to say crappy, but not up to par with what you thought it was going to be. And then how do you handle situations like that, where, like, say the imagery isn't giving you a whole lot to work with? Like, do you ask them to re-edit it or make some changes, or do you just like how do you handle those situations?
I never asked to re-edit. I follow the director. Whatever the director says, I do, and I deliver as best as I can, given whatever I'm given. It could be poorly shot. It doesn't matter. My job is to create an emotion at the moment, and if I could do that at the best I can, then, you know, that's really what.
That's dope.
That's really what I think counts.
Would you rather have a scene where there's not much going on so you could put more onto it, or are you looking for scenes that's like chaotic to just add a little bit onto it? Like, what do you prefer?
I'm more of a simple dude. I think simplicity is what makes a good score. I mean, yeah, there are moments that you need to be big and, you know, epic and all that stuff, but for me, a scene doesn't really need to have much for it to be good. If everything is at par, if everything works at the moment, then that's a good scene. and it's just a combination of just so many things that just has to be right for that scene to be able to pop. But there's never a moment where I think I need to do something insane. There's never a moment. It just, if it needs it, if that's what the scene requires, then that's what I'm gonna deliver. If it doesn't need it, then I don't.
You let it speak to you, and then you give it what. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm constantly watching the film too,
Got
so I know what the film would need, and with conversations with the director. You know, I hear all the comments, I hear all the feedback, and I'm like, okay, now what can I do to make this? Because sometimes it could be a big scene, but you have little to no score, and it's just as effective as a scene with explosions and crazy drums and all that stuff. It's just as effective, and I prefer, honestly, like the minimal scoring. I feel like it just gets you more like, oh
That's
man,
dope.
that was good.
That's dope. That's dope. Man, we're going to take another quick break, man. J Moon, J5TH, man. Y'all make sure y'all got y'all questions ready, man. Y'all heard if y'all got any more. But we're going to take a quick break, man. We'll be back in a tick. More on Patio Politics. Yes, yes, yes. Through with all that gang banging shit. I ain't ever going back to the pit.
If y'all two were together, y'all had each other's back.
What you gonna do now that you're on?
We could do it like how we used to do it in the old times.
I'm about to make a change on some serious shit.
Ready, go?
Ready for what?
Get in, my nigga.
It's the Patio Politics, man. Your man J5TH, Jonathan Munoz is still with us and rocking with us, man, and dropping bombs after bombs. Now, we was on break, man. You start dropping some more. I'm like, we got to get back to it. You was talking about, and this ties to the title of Ethos, just the power of music and how it evokes certain emotions or emotions in you. And you said a strong point about how you can attempt to hide the emotion, but you can't fake it. I want you to elaborate on that when it comes to music, because you said it's vibration. So, yeah,
That's
talk
right.
your talk.
Yeah. Music is energy.
Yeah.
You're pushing energy in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And what people need to understand, too, is that we're made of energy.
Yes.
You know, everything about us, we resonate at a certain frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And you could be at a certain frequency, like when you're sad and you listen to sad music, it resonates with you because you're resonating at the same frequency.
Yep.
If you feel good, you listen to hype music, you feel good, you're resonating at the same frequency.
Exactly.
You know, if you're calm and you listen to hype music, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
Well, of course, you're not resonating at the same frequency.
At the same frequency.
So
yeah.
It's all about frequency. It's all about energy. And usually I get the question of, you know, is my music good enough? It's like, well, do you feel good? Yeah. Does it feel good to you? Does it feel good to maybe a few close friends? Yeah, then we're good.
Then we're good, yeah.
It doesn't always have to feel good to everyone because everybody's always at different frequencies.
That part.
You
man,
know?
say that part again, man.
You don't always need to feel the approval from people because they're not resonating at the same frequency as your music.
Mm-hmm. That's facts. That's facts. And a lot of times, because people feel that, I'm not gonna say negative feedback. Let's call it constructive criticism. It dials them back, and they get to saying I shouldn't, I can't, maybe this ain't for me. But like you said, if you feel it, and a few close friends feel it, man, everybody else might feel it. You have some that may not because of that frequency that they're on, but that doesn't mean you don't have it or you don't have a hit or a great song. Yeah. You know, that's heavy. That's heavy. That's heavy. Let me get you on there. Yeah.
How do you continue the work though? Say you're working with somebody and you two are on different frequencies, but what you're doing you feel, but what they're feeling something completely different. Like how do you find a middle ground to not move so far off of what you're doing, because it's like I know what I'm feeling. Like this is great right here, and I don't know what it's going to take to get you to come around to hear what I hear or feel what I feel. But how do you mediate that?
I would say there's a compromise to make when you're working with people. Sometimes you have to say, if you feel good and you feel like your energy is not going to get affected by saying, I can remove that. Compromise.
Yeah.
There's no, why not?
Yeah.
You know, I would rather set the tone for the room than say, nah, this is good, I ain't moving anything.
Yeah.
You know, I would rather that, because for me, the energy from all the creatives that I'm working with matters more to me than the energy that I'm feeling at the moment. And if I know that I could bring it a step down and it won't compromise anything in the way I feel and the way I'm working, then I'll do it. I don't have a problem with that. And that's also the talk about being like selfless. You know, music is very personal.
Yes.
Music, again, it resonates at the energetic level, the frequencies. So, again, if you could take that compromise, take it. There's really no reason why you shouldn't, because that can only lead to more creative experiences. It could probably open up an avenue and say, damn, because I removed that, now I could put this.
Yeah.
Or because I removed that, like, now we could work on this, or we could do this. So it's just like, you can't really just trap yourself in a very like closed mindset. Like, this is good, I'm resonating, so it has to be good. Like, that's not how the world works.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta really like pick and choose your battles, I would say.
And I believe too, music is patient. It's very patient, man. And like you said, you have to, if it's you, that energy should match you in the room, or you should set the tone. And if that tone is not being set, then you either need to find other people to work with or work by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Especially if nobody's bringing that same energy that you're bringing. And I know you know, because you were in a group and things of that nature. That's why I asked you that question. Do you prefer to be in a group or solo? Because it's frustrating when you're in a group and you're bringing the shit here. Your frequency is high. You have high expectations. You're optimistic, but your other group members, if it ain't working in a couple months, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And y'all done put a whole album together, and it's just like, come on, man. Now, in doing that, did you love the album, or was it an okay album? How was the album from your perspective?
I loved it.
Loved it? Yeah.
I loved it. I put everything into it. Everyone did.
Yeah.
Everyone did. Because when we were creating, it was there.
It was there. Ah, man, it's nothing like it. It's
It really isn't.
So how did you feel when y'all disband though? It's like, all like
it never feels good.
Yeah.
It never feels good. Like, separation never feels good. You know, I wouldn't call it failure, but like when you don't succeed at something, or it doesn't come out to be what you thought it was going to be, it never feels good.
Yeah.
You just have to learn how to bounce back from that.
That's dope. That's dope. Now tell me, man, what was the most difficult film you had of composing?
Films.
Where you had to sit on it for a few days, and
I wouldn't say films, but definitely for because the films we had good communication.
Got you. Communication is key.
Yes, it really is.
Yeah.
But definitely where I did have a little bit of a struggle was with like, TV show cues. So I worked on a project with a friend. His name is Alex, and it was for HBO. What's it called? The White Lotus. So that show was like very like different sound. I don't even know how to. It was like calypso, percussive, tropical vibe, and I was supposed to write in that style.
Got you.
And I was just like, how do I just begin to even think of getting in that headspace when I don't know any of what the director, you know, because when I'm doing these TV cues, it's just me behind a computer and I'm just writing, and I have to just think about it, and I have a deadline.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I have like a few days to get this cranked out. how do I get in that mind space? How do I get in that headspace?
Wow.
And just deliver something that's unique,
Mm-hmm.
that can sound good, and that can, hit that standard that the show has. So I would say that project specifically was 6 cues. That project specifically was very challenging because I have no experience with that kind of music. So I just listened. I always tell musicians, when you're working on a project, you have to live that music for the time that you're working on that project.
Yeah.
You have to like breathe that music, because if not, you won't get it.
You won't. Yeah.
You won't understand where it's coming from.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And at the deadline period, I sent it to them, and he was like, "This sounds freaking awesome." And I was like, I'm glad, because I had no idea what I was doing.
I think that's spirit, though, man. Like you said, man, just the way you move and all that, I can tell that it's in you and on you. So whatever comes out, it's going to come out proper and dope. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Now, have you ever caught yourself like watching a movie and so locked into the scene you forgot about doing the music? Or basically, in other words, what perspective do you watch the film in first? Do you watch it as a consumer first? Or do you watch it as a musician first?
I would say it changes. It depends on my mood. Like, if I had a long day, like, I don't want to sit there and just be like, like the music's gonna come here.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But if I'm like good, like it's early afternoon, I would say like 6, 7, I'm watching a TV show, then I'm like, oh, that was a nice cue, or like that was a nice, like I said, shot. I pay attention to color and shots all the time. Lighting, I pay attention to all that stuff. So I'm looking at it and I'm just like, wow, that's good lighting. Even if it's not music, I'm just paying attention to the art of cinematography. That's what I'm looking at. I'm just always looking at ways to improve my analytical mind.
Got you. Now, has it been any time where you sent something and the director or producers don't like what you sent and you have to do revisions?
Yeah. Yeah. All the time. All the time. It happens.
Now, is that a frustrating process?
No. It's part of the job.
Got you.
You got to know what you signed up for.
So you don't take it personal or nothing?
At all.
That's dope.
At all.
That's dope. You got a lot of people that take shit personal, man.
You shouldn't. You're working together. I mean, working together, meaning it's not just you.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people, it ties on to your question, they don't have a compromise.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
How many times do you have to watch a film to break it down in your head before you actually start working on it?
That depends on a lot of factors. It depends on communication. If I understand what you want from the film, then it generally doesn't take that much, because I know the direction I'm heading. Now, if someone says, hey, I have this scene, it's emotional, and, we wanted people to feel sad, and I'm just like, damn, there's a lot of ways to do that. It could be a piano, it could be a synth, it could be a voice, it could be nothing. Silence is
powerful too.
Yeah, so like you got to give me a little more, and when that happens, I usually try to have a deeper conversation with the director. And if I still don't see that I could pull things out, then I just kind of go with my gut instinct.
Gotcha.
Whatever I feel like the scene needs, and then from there he'll be like, maybe I don't need like piano, leave it synth, and then I'm like, okay, now I started the conversation.
Got you. Now, would you recommend they send you references? Like maybe time mark each scene and say, okay, could this scene potentially have this in it, or this instrument, this sound, that sound, yada, yada, yada?
I would say sometimes it's best it doesn't have a reference, but then sometimes it's good.
Yeah.
But I feel like when it doesn't have a reference, it allows me more possibility to create. Yeah. Because when I have a temp or something like that, then I'm just like locked in, like, okay, he wants this kind of sound, so now I have to like work in this kind of sound.
Yeah.
Which is not always a bad thing too, because maybe sometimes I'm not resonating at a high energy, and I'm like, all right, now that I'm locked in these rules, I could relax a little bit and just kind of like follow these rules.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'm like, man, I'm glad I got this opportunity, because now I could be creative. I feel good. Let me do it.
Now, has anybody ever attempted to have like super duper sound with minimal budget for you? Like, yeah, I know
you mean free?
Not yeah. Or you give them a love price, but they want, I want transformer, I want themes, I want this for this character. Where you're like, oh, hold up, like.
Luckily, I've been clear with everyone.
Okay.
Whatever we speak about beforehand, like we come down to an agreement, like this is what it is. And then if there's anything that changes after that, again, conversation.
Yeah.
The communication is key.
Yes.
If you say I want this, and I say, well, that's I'm not gonna say it's a lot, but
Yeah.
you know, given the circumstances, like
Yeah.
it takes up a lot more time to do that, and that means more resources on my end.
Exactly, because some sounds require a whole orchestra, it seems like. And I wanted you to kind of elaborate on that. Have you been in a situation where you have to hire additional musicians to come in a session with you to make this one particular scene large how the director wanted?
So luckily, since I do play instruments, I've been able to supplement some of those things with just me.
That's dope.
Now, later this year, I have a bigger film coming up, and which they do require, or they're going to want an orchestra, live orchestra. So I'm going to be working with an orchestra remote from Budapest.
Wow.
And, you know, if everything goes well, we like what we hear, then we're going to keep with that. But obviously, if there's you know, anything like, hey, I want like something different here or a different instrument, then I would go to my resources, people I know who play, you know, specific instruments, or I feel has like the best, you know, sound for this specific, you know, project. I'll go to them. But generally the projects that I've worked on as of now has been like in the box.
Got you.
And I've been able to create it in a way where like it sounds and it stays up, you know, to industry standard.
Yeah. Now with this new project, are you going to be conducting the orchestra as the orchestrator?
I'm not gonna be conducting because it's remote, so they're all the way in Budapest. I'm gonna be doing it from my computer. I'll just have like the live cam view of the orchestra, and then I'll speak to the conductor in real time to kind of like hit notes and be like, hey, look, you know, can we do a different pass? But like tell the violins to do this, or can we get this, you know, sound to kind of be a little bit different here?
That's dope shit. That's dope. Are you excited about it?
I am. Yeah. It's really awesome working with real people, because like these are people who are trained for this.
Yeah.
Like you could tell them, I want, you know, a sound to be squeaky and like natural, but at the same time this, and they're like, I got you. I like this.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So like when you have that energy between musicians, I feel like that's where the real magic happens.
Yes, it is.
That's the limitation with samples a little bit now, because it's like you get one performance and it's one sound.
Yeah.
And to be able to craft it, it's like you got to do a lot of processing.
And trust me, for MCs who cannot produce, sampling is like, it's a blessing, but it's a curse. Because there's so many copyright infringements tagged on it. I remember years ago, I don't know if it changed, it probably has, but you used to could sample up to 4 bars. Legally, without them coming for you. Now I don't know if it changed, I'm certain it did, but it's tricky. It's really, really tricky. And say if you do get a band and you say, I want it to sound just like this, you can actually get sued if it sounds identical, because now it's notes. So you got to figure out a way to elaborate and tell the band, okay, can you go a note higher or octave? Like, exactly, that shit is tricky.
It is very tricky.
Yeah.
I know people who run into that issue because they're in that same world. I generally don't run into that issue because most of the stuff is just things that kind of pushing out there. But I have had situations where directors were like, hey, you know, can you do this and like do it like almost the same? And I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm not looking for a legal battle here. You know, it's either, you know, if you want this and you really want it, like, then just go to someone else, because I can't help you with that.
Yeah, because they're gonna come after you.
It's
like you said, it's about communication, because people doesn't look at it like that. Dang, I just lost that question. It was an important question I had to ask you pertaining to that. When are you gonna start working on your album, man? Redoing it.
Woo. Well, right now, like I said, I'm just kind of taking it easy. I'm kind of processing the past, you know, 2 years. I've had to move 3 different states. And kind of like I'm still new to LA.
Yeah.
Just been here, I think we said 5 months.
5 months.
5 months. And
how has it been treating you?
It's been a huge eye opener that I needed this break. Just like process.
Yes.
I just haven't stopped.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm still like, I say I've stopped, but I'm still working. You know.
Yes. Creator, man.
You know, but like I need to take a pause and reset. Kind of just like see where I gotta go, see the routes I gotta take, and then from there move forward. And that way I can make like a more, you know, clear decision.
Yeah.
You know, on what to do next.
But
dope. I'm still working. I'm still keeping creative. You know, I'm not writing as much music right now. I'm just keeping it at a low point, just to give myself that mental, you know, pause for a second.
And how do you balance that being in a relationship?
She is musically inclined too. She sings.
Oh, praises. Yeah, that's dope. So she
understands.
Got you.
Yeah, she understands.
Got you.
100%.
Got you. That's a blessing, man.
It is. It is, honestly. She understands. She does it as a hobby. But she understands. She knows, how it works. She also studied music business with me. So she understands everything.
Yes.
Was that something you was looking for, or did it just happen that way?
I always knew I needed someone who understood.
Yes.
What was going on, because if you're on the outside, you don't understand what it is to be. You just don't.
And it's hard to attempt to get you to understand.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. It just it doesn't work.
And I'm sure it brings about hardships and things of that nature.
It brings up a lot of a lot of that. It just does, because like if you don't understand where you're coming from, like you just won't get it. And sure, there are people who manage to make it work. And blessings to you, but at the same time, now in this world, like it's even harder to understand what it is to be a creative. Yes. People are just looking at, do you got 1 million followers on TikTok? Then
I was gonna say social media has made it difficult.
You don't win.
Yeah. But that's a blessing that you have that. And what was the most beautiful thing you said is that she took up music as a business. So it may be things you don't understand. I know as creatives, it's difficult to manage both being creative and understand the business side of things, because we just normally just want to create. We don't want to have to draw up our own contracts and do things like that. So where you're at a space where you want to create, you can give her the contract and say, hey, babe, can you just look this over? Let me know what the logistics are, yada, yada, yada. And she gets that terminology.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Now, where do you see yourself? Because I know you said 5 years ago you seen yourself where you are now. 5 years from now, where do you see yourself?
I've grown into a more entrepreneurial mindset. So, we just started, me and my fiance just started a new business venture, which we're keeping on the low.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. But we started that, and hopefully that can, allow us to have a lot more freedom in the future, because, again, we're stuck in this world where everything just has to be quick.
Yeah.
And it's not like that.
Gotcha.
Real results happen over time.
Yes, man.
And
that's
you
real.
just can't can't speed it up. You can't slow it down. Time. Give it time, and work, discipline. All those things come into play. But that's really where we're working towards, is getting that freedom, allowing myself more time to be free to do music, but without the mindset of like I have to pay bills because music, or I have to do this because music, and music just doesn't become fun at that point.
It doesn't.
It literally just becomes like a job. You're working retail or something, you know, and retail is like, it's intense.
Yes.
And music will become that way.
Yeah.
If you have to do that, to pay your bills.
Yeah. Damn. That's real. That's real.
Y'all
heard it. Y'all got any more questions, or y'all good?
I got a whole lot, but I'm gonna get to them off.
Got you, man. Well, just before you go, I want you to just give some words of encouragement and advice to other musicians that are out there like us, that are maybe on a thin line of quitting or giving up because they don't have the equipment, they don't have the push, or they don't have an angel of a significant other like yourself that's pushing them. What would you tell them?
I just came from a low point. Actually, just a few weeks back.
Wow.
A point where I felt like music wasn't going for me.
You talking to my spirit? Go.
Yeah, music doesn't go for me. I can't do this, or maybe I can, or am I doing enough, or what am I doing? Who am I? I came from that low point, and I'm here now. I'm working on myself. I'm working mentally, and I can say that now I feel 100 times better.
Yes.
I feel like I'm back. I feel like I'm thinking things clear.
Yeah.
I would just say, we need those low points, because if you don't have those low points, then that's the time for you to reflect. That's the time for you to see, like, okay, what are my areas of struggle? What really is causing me to feel this way?
Yeah.
And once you break it down to that point, your low points are your time to reflect. And if you have low points often, it means you're not giving yourself enough time to reflect.
Message.
So I feel like definitely, if you have a dream, keep pursuing it.
Yes.
There's no reason why you shouldn't, unless there's something in you telling you that maybe it isn't the thing for you. But if it's something that you have a burning desire to do, just do it.
Man.
Do it, and again, if your mind, people tend to think from the neck down.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They think like, my body's tired, I can't do. No, people need to start thinking from the neck up, because up here is where everything happens.
Man, where it starts.
So keep that mentality. Find where you had that initial spark from, and you keep working towards it, and you're gonna see that even if life doesn't go in a straight line for you, which it won't, you're still able to find the right avenue to get to where you need to be to.
Come on, man. You're a musical preacher. There you go. Man, let the world know how they can get in contact with you, because I'm damn sure after this, they will be blowing you up some more, man.
Yeah, so definitely my biggest platform right now is YouTube. So if you go to John Moon Studios, this is all one word. I'm going to spell it out. JohnMunStudios Studios. There's my YouTube channel where I teach music technology, just advices, tips, gear reviews, pretty much everything that you can start to get started in music. If you have no idea how to get started, you could visit the channel. And I teach music software, music technology. That's the best way to get in contact with me. I have my email on there too, so it's just johnmoonstudios@gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
I'm on Instagram as well. My film account on Instagram is John Moon Film, so it's spelled the same way, except with film at the end. But yeah, there's many ways to get in contact with me. I would say YouTube is the best way, because I'm constantly on that, reading comments and answering people. So it's where I'm mostly active.
Got you. And in that 5 years, man, you ain't gonna be out of Cali, right? You still gonna be here.
I hope so.
Prayfully.
I hope so.
Because we got a lot of work to do,
Yes,
J-Moon.
we do.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do, man. Make sure y'all support my brother and check him out. Go support the videos, man, and just tap in and get a bar, man. A lot of those people who want to be music engineers and all that, please check him out, man. He's a dope and phenomenal teacher. With that being said, we're going to get him back. Once you finish that album, please come back, man, so we can tap into it, dissect it. I want to hear it. I want to hear the old album, too, that you did with the group and everything, man. But thank you for coming, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you for blessing us. I think this is something we all needed today. And I know it's something the world needed as well, so we appreciate it.
It's something I needed, too.
Oh,
I appreciate it.
There it is, man, my brother. Yes, yes, yes. Tap in, tap in, tap in. Check us out. So Patio PolitiCz, this will not be the last time you see my brother. We will be back and at y'all like this.
We hope